Hello, and welcome to the 2025 Town of Huntersville Candidate Forum, presented by the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. Tonight's 2-hour session provides residents with the opportunity to hear directly from candidates, learn about their positions, and submit questions on issues that matter most to our community. Justin Ckezepis is your moderator. Let's join the action live from Huntersville Town Hall.
And now to the town board candidates. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are excited to have you all. Obviously, there's quite a few more people here at the front this time than a little bit earlier. So all of the candidates are aware of this. The messaging was sent out to them beforehand. I will not be asking all 9 of them the same question. For multiple reasons. However, we will certainly have a lively conversation. There will be only 2 times where you all get the same question, and that will be the first and the last question. So I will start from left to right, and I'm going to end right to left, as I did during the first round. Mr. Boone, please introduce yourself and answer the question, why are you running for office?
First of all, thank you for WSIC and the Chamber for holding this forum, and I'd also like to congratulate my opponents for throwing their hat into this ring and being willing to serve the town of Huntersville. And the citizens, thank you for coming out tonight. My name is Dan Boone, and I've lived here for 25 years. I grew up in a military family. We moved every 2 years. 25 years ago, this became my hometown. I got involved in local politics by getting on the Board of Adjustment, followed by the Planning Board, and from there, I became a 4-term commissioner for the town of Huntersville. During those 4 terms, I never raised your taxes one time. Outside of being a commissioner, I was one of the original members of the old Huntersville Historic Society, and when I was a major part of restoring the old jail, the oldest building in Huntersville. I'm also on the board of the U Torrance House and Store. I'm on the board of the North Mecklenburg Crime Stoppers, and presently, I am the co-president of the Rotary Club of Lake Norman, Huntersville. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Sir, please introduce yourself, and why are you running for office?
Hello, my name is Scott Coronet. I have always been very civic-minded. When I was in high school, I was a nerd, and I started a nonprofit to make a track and field for my school, and there is now a track and field in my small town. I lived in Wyoming, where I grew up. I moved to Iowa to go to school, where I met my spouse, and we had our daughter. I loved it there, but I started coming out here for work, and this actually is where it really feels like home. So we moved here 10 years ago with my daughter took her first steps here. I fell in love with the town. I fell in love with the people, the trees. Everything here was this is where it really feels like home, and this is what I want to help make Huntersville feel like home to everybody else. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Please introduce yourself, and why are you running for office?
Well, first, I'd like to thank the Chamber and WSIC for the opportunity. Good evening. My name is Frank Gammon. I'm here to get your vote for the Huntersville Town Board of Commissioners. I'm a 30-year resident of the town of Huntersville. Been married to the same lady for 51 years. We had 2 great children, and they've given us 6 great-grandchildren. I have 2 decades or more of decision-making and leadership experience as an Army officer, active duty Army officer, and nearly a decade of experience in this town working with the town staff and the town board on 3 different advisory boards. I spent 2.5 years on the Greenway Trail and Bikeway. I spent 6 years on the planning board where I was the vice chair for 2 of those. And concurrently, I was the planning board rep on the ordinance advisory board for 4.5 years. I don't know everything, but I know who to ask in this town when I don't, and more importantly, they know me. Thank you.
Thank you. Please introduce yourself, and why are you running for town board?
Hey everyone, my name is Jennifer Hunt. I am currently serving as a commissioner and am your mayor pro tem since 2023, and I'm here to ask for your vote again tonight. I moved to Huntersville from Western New York in 2012 so I could start my teaching career. I taught at Hopewell High School for 4 years and then Lake Norman Charter for 6 years. And now I'm currently a marketing professional for a forestry firm in Charlotte. I have volunteered with the Angels and Sparrows Pathways program, which is a wonderful program here in town. And I also work closely with the folks over at Caterpillar Ministries to help the underserved residents in that community. As a commissioner, I serve on several additional committees, including the town's first Environmental Sustainability Committee, which our board created in 2024. I also serve as the liaison to the Huntersville Family Fitness and Aquatics Committee, as well as the CMS Capital Bonds Committee. My priorities as a commissioner have been environmental stewardship, affordable housing, public safety, and progress with purpose. I'm excited to talk to you about those things more this evening.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am Commissioner Edwin Quarles. I'm also the 12th Congressional District Commissioner for the Department of Veteran Affairs. I'm an Air Force veteran who served in Desert Storm, and I was around the burn pits. And I have some service-connected internal disabilities that cannot be reversed. I have not had a pain-free day since the mid-1990s. In my first term, I learned how to govern. I have the reputation for standing up for public service, our veterans, and which isn't an easy role. I built a strong reputation for being the voice for those who sometimes go unheard. My biggest asset is I know how to build trust and relationships. In 2023, the things that you asked for, I delivered on them. Promises made, promises kept. I championed the Veteran Service Office that will be opened up soon right behind us in the new town hall. I implemented the Huntersville inaugural Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. I partnered with small business owners. I built important intergovernmental relationships with other electeds, and I've delivered smart growth and economic development.
Thank you, sir. May I please introduce yourself, and why are you running for office?
Good evening, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. Come on now, because I'm that person. I am. Thank you. Thank you. My name is LaToya Rivers. I am currently serving as your town board commissioner. However, I am asking tonight for your vote for re-election to serve again. During my first term, I learned a lot. And when I started out advocating for an underserved community, which is one of the oldest communities that was standing in the town of Huntersville. I'm a native here, born and raised. My family was one of the first families originated in the Pottstown community. So it was important to have a seat at the table and be a voice for a community that felt like they didn't have a voice for a very long time. Now I'm here to continue that work, but also champion for affordable housing, making sure that we have smart growth and smart development decisions. So I am asking you tonight for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, please introduce yourself, and why are you running for office?
Good evening, everybody. First off, thank you, Justin, for moderating this evening, and Bill, thank you. My name is Heather Smallwood, and I have lived here in Huntersville for 20 years with my husband and both of my children. I'm from just up the road, actually, in Wilkesboro, so I'm a native North Carolinian. I have a junior in college and a junior still in high school here, and I have been extremely involved in our schools as a stay-at-home mom. And through that experience, I've served on 2 PTA boards as vice president of fundraising, and I've taken those responsibilities extremely important in my eyes. I'm currently on the committee with Ambassador Christian School, where we're striving to raise money to send every football player and every cheerleader to Dublin, Ireland next year. We want every student to be able to afford to go to that, no matter their financial situation. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Sir, please introduce yourself, and why are you running for office?
No problem. Progress. It's a simple word, but what does it really mean? It means moving forward, working together towards a better future. Huntersville is now a thriving community of 70,000 residents, and we've seen some remarkable progress over the last couple of years. I have been fortunate enough to serve alongside dedicated colleagues who share the goal of making Huntersville a better place to live, work, play, and yes, thrive. Together, we have worked hard to address today's challenges while planning responsibly for the growth ahead. My name is Nick Walsh, and I'm running to continue the good work with our team on behalf of Huntersville. And I appreciate you guys listening to us tonight.
Thank you so much. And again, we will not be asking all of the same question to all candidates, so we will go back and forth between a few. Mr. Gammon, I'm going to start with you on the first question. What do you believe to be some of the top priorities for the upcoming budget for the town of Huntersville?
Well, first and foremost is roads. And I think everybody would agree with that, with the traffic problems. So The town board has set out, and regardless of the town board, I don't disagree with the priorities they set out for the roads, but what else would I say? My roads is all I got.
Thank you. Ms. Hunt, what do you believe to be the top priorities for the upcoming budget for the town of Huntersville?
Well, certainly we need to keep investing in our infrastructure, right? And it's simply not just infrastructure of roads, greenway, sidewalks, but also the infrastructure for our public servants. So police, fire, and those kinds of groups. We also want to continue to invest in affordable housing. And so as Mayor Clark alluded to earlier, we were the first group to invest in a study to learn more about affordable housing opportunities in Huntersville, and that's something that we're going to continue working on. I'd also like to see us invest more in our budget for our green spaces, and so one of the things that we're talking about doing is investing in a tree survey or a tree study so that we can get a better sense of where we are with our tree canopy. The last time we looked at that, it was estimated to be about a 2% loss, which if you've looked around town lately, that probably doesn't feel accurate anymore. And so we would like to also invest in checking that out so that helps us better understand how we can conserve and preserve more of our green spaces.
Thank you. Ms. Smallwood, what do you believe to be the top priorities for the upcoming budget for the town of Huntersville?
Yes, I do believe that our police are something that we definitely need to continue investing in, as well as our school resource officers. I know that there's been a budget for 3 to be implemented into our schools, and that's great, but we've got to get the police on the street before we can get them into our schools. I also believe affordable housing is important, but it cannot be the town's project. It could be worked in a partnership maybe, but we need to be looking at where and how our money is being spent, as well as giving away taxpayers' properties to do it. I believe that's not the right way either.
Thank you. Ms. Rivers, how do you believe best to handle the growing development through the town of Huntersville in the future?
So one of my key priorities is smart growth. And smart growth is about process. And the process has to make sense. And growth that benefits everyone and not just a few. And what I mean by that is what we have to do, we have 3 components that we need. Build responsibly, invest in housing, jobs, and infrastructure. Protect and preserve what matters. Keep our green spaces, historic and underserved neighborhoods, focus on affordability and a strong local identity. And create fairness. Make sure every resident, young, old, the 1%, middle class, and everyone can share in the benefits of that growth.
Thank you. Mr. Boone, how do you believe it best to handle growth in the future in the town of Huntersville?
In my opinion, the best way the town could continue, control growth is to keep the developers to the ordinances. And the example for this, if the buffer says 80 feet, keep the buffer at 80 feet. Don't make a modification to 40 feet. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coronet, how do you believe it best to handle growth in the future in the town of Huntersville?
I think big projects that are brought through by right should be reviewed by the board. I don't think we should be rubber stamping those through. I do think we need to follow our ordinances to make sure that we are following them to the way they were designed. And we make sure that we shouldn't just be making a baseline, following the baseline of our requirements. I think we have the opportunity to have the upper hand to make sure that we're bringing in truly remarkable projects that could really impact the beauty of Huntersville.
Thank you. Mr. Quarles, do you believe a tax increase may be necessary in the town of Huntersville in the upcoming budget?
Excellent question. I don't believe a town increase is necessary in the upcoming budget because we have not raised taxes in 2025 or 2026. And this board is very strong on economic development. And the things that we've done since we've been on board, There's no need for us to raise taxes. We understand bringing in mixed-use development is what pays our bills. We've found the formula on how to keep our taxes low. Of the top 25 municipalities in the state of North Carolina, hope Bill's not keep. Huntersville is the 16th largest municipality in the state, and we have the lowest personal property tax of all of those. So again, we have done a masterful job in keeping taxes low, and there's no need to raise taxes.
Mr. Walsh, do you believe a tax increase may be necessary in the upcoming budget for the town of Huntersville?
The short answer is potentially not. However, until we actually get into the budget cycle and decide what our needs are and what we're trying to accomplish as a town to grow and to support public safety, infrastructure, downtown redevelopment, affordable housing, et cetera, we'll just have to look at that point. I believe, though, if the transit tax goes through, that's an additional $12.5 million a year towards our roads and infrastructure, which will help keep the pressure off of raising taxes for the town.
Thank you. Ms. Rivers, do you believe a tax increase may be necessary in the upcoming budget?
Okay, so taxes had not been raised in close to a decade. And back in 2023, when we took office, we inherited tax increase. But let's look at it from this perspective. In 2010, the population for Huntersville was 46,773. In 2020, the population was 61,376. And currently, we're at 70,000. So yes, there was a tax increase. I do not feel that we need to have one for 25 and 26, as we have already invested. And let's look at the return on that investment. We now have a full-time fire department in-house that has never happened before. We also have 10 sworn police officers. We just recently increased the pay rate to $4,800 so that we can have retention for our police officers. So I think with what we've done thus far has created a great return. We do not need to increase our tax rate.
Thank you. Ms. Hunt, do you believe a tax increase may be necessary in the upcoming budget?
The short answer is I hope not, but unfortunately, we have to evaluate our revenue streams, right? So that could be things like grants, which we know the federal government is kind of clawing those back, but things like grants, the other revenue streams like Commissioner Walsh mentioned a moment ago, if the transit tax passes, that's another $12.5 million that we can use for our, for our roads. I don't believe it will be necessary because, as my colleagues have already alluded to, we have been able to do a significant amount with very little. And so for the small tax increase that we had the last year, we have been able to do a significant amount with that. We have a full-time fire department. We hired more police officers. We budgeted for school resource officers. We are hiring an arborist and a veteran service officer. So we are making the most out of the resources that we have now.
Thank you. Mr. Gammon, what do you believe the current safety needs are for the town of Huntersville?
First and foremost is to fill out our police force. The board, previous board, well, not previous board, last year we added 10 new officers to the police department, and this year we're 20 short. Is the last what I was told today when I was sat down with the police. So priority is to fill those police slots. The other priorities are, to this board's credit, they put three SROs in the budget for next year for the elementary schools, one at each. But I think in this day and time, we need an SRO in every one of our schools, not just one split between the two. It doesn't take anybody to look and say there's no police car here. We should protect our children. And we should provide our officers and all our first responders, the fire department also, with all the equipment they need to keep the people safe in this town, because Huntersville citizens should not only feel safe, they should be safe, and they need to be able to get home safely to their families when their shift ends.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Coronet, what do you believe to be the current safety needs for the town of Huntersville?
I agree. We need to continue to invest in our police department. I do believe we need to get our fire station and police department on the docket for replacement. Currently, right now, we cannot have women at the fire department because it's not established to house both people there. And I also agree we need to invest in our SROs as well.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh, I'm getting a question again. Affordable housing, what do we do now?
What are we doing now, or what are we doing now?
What do we do now?
What do we do now? We continue down the path that we've started as a board. 2 years ago, we put about I think it was $150,000 in our budget to start to, and when I say start to address the issue of affordable housing, we're not even putting a dent in it at this point. We're going to continue to work with developers. I believe the number right now is about 47 affordable units, both ownership as well as rental, that we have worked with our partners to get. The mayor alluded to the fact that we've got a rezoning coming up where we're going to start our first co-op building. And when I say we're working with partners to do this, an actual co-op building for affordable units here in the downtown. So continuing to work with our nonprofits and others to build out that inventory, which we've just started. And again, we're not really putting a dent in it, but we've started.
Thank you. Mr. Quarles, affordable housing, what do we do now?
I agree with Commissioner Walsh. This board has done an excellent job negotiating with developers when it comes to affordable housing. No developer will come before this board without having affordable housing in his or her plan. So they know we're going to negotiate affordable housing. As Commissioner Walsh said, we have tangible evidence. We've put 47 affordable housing units that's coming to this town for our police, fire, teachers, and as those working in retail. I would support the town's assistance that we give to our partners to help with affordable housing. And then, as we all going to say, we have this co-op building that's coming to bring additional affordable housing. So what we should do is do what we're continuing to do. We have tangible evidence to prove that we take affordable housing very seriously. And if you look at affordable housing for police, that fewer vehicles leaving our town. That's fuel that we can keep in our town for our tax purposes as well. So again, continue what we're doing as far as affordable housing. Change nothing. Keep moving forward.
Mr. Boone, affordable housing, what do we do now?
Thank you for the question. Any new job I've ever taken, I've always had a 100-day plan. Within the first 100 days, I'm going to have to work with the board and the mayor to get somebody in town hall, basically one of the town assistant managers, and challenge them not to only be the downtown development plan manager, but also someone to be the tip of the spear for affordable housing, someone who works on this every day and looks for the opportunity not only with the developers, but for partnerships with private companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Smallwood, affordable housing, what do we do now?
Thank you for the question. The way I see it is if we're promising affordability in Huntersville, it needs to be real, not just written down on paper. And I feel like that's kind of where we've been the last couple of years. Right now, there's also very little transparency in how we verify that units labeled as affordable are actually occupied by the people that they're intended for. So that's something else that concerns me. Developers can advertise them, but enforcement and reporting are often minimal. That's something we absolutely need to tighten up on, and if I'm elected, I will definitely be the one to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coronet, in what ways, if any, should the town work with nonprofits?
I do think the town should work with nonprofits. I actually think there's a good opportunity for the town to work with a nonprofit in ways to develop a co-op to help with affordable housing. I don't think the town should actually manage co-ops or the affordable housing, but I think there's an opportunity to work with nonprofits to help enable that, and I look forward to working on that.
Ms. Hunt, in what ways, if any, should the town work with nonprofits?
I love this question. So donating to nonprofits, according to recent studies, is down unless you are a high net worth individual, which is not me. and maybe it's not most of the people in this room. So I think it's important to note that the government cannot possibly fill in all of the gaps for people at all times. And so when we think about donating to nonprofits as a town, I'm thinking about how we can help people proactively or reactively. And so by that, I mean we can invest in people's lives. We can help children with after-school tutoring programs, and then maybe that helps them have economic mobility in the future, and now they no longer need the social safety net. Maybe we're helping some folks with some mental health counseling. Now maybe they will no longer need police. And so if we are helping people proactively, then we can mitigate a significant amount of suffering along the way.
Mr. Boone, in what ways, if any, should the town work with nonprofits?
I think the town should look at each individual nonprofit. If it's something that the county of Mecklenburg County can handle and it's in their service wheel, let them handle it. If not, let them come to the town with their programs and we'll take a look at it. But I'm also a person that advocates for private civic groups to work with individual nonprofits. I can see one nonprofit in this room that we do an awful lot of work with. The Rotary Club that I belong to is putting a dental unit into the Cook Clinic right here in Huntersville. So that's what I would do on an individual basis.
Thank you. Ms. Smallwood, in what ways, if any, should the town work with nonprofits?
I believe that nonprofits are definitely important, but I think that taxpayers should have input on where and how their money is being spent.
Thank you. Mr. Gammon, I'll ask you the same question. In what ways, if any, should the town work with nonprofits?
I think the town should be a conduit for the nonprofits and not-for-profits in the town. For example, many of the things, just like we're coming up next week for the Business Expo, there should be a nonprofit expo that the town runs. We can run in the rec center to introduce people. We can bring nonprofits in on a monthly basis and introduce them to the people and encourage people to donate and volunteer their time. I personally do not think that taxpayer money should be spent on nonprofits. I'm like Dan, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Lake Norman, Huntersville, and every year we raise about $100,000 that we give to nonprofits in Cornelius and Huntersville. I personally give, and I think everybody else should give, but I should not be the one picking the winners and losers of what nonprofit that taxpayer money goes to. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh, in regards to e-bikes, do you have any concerns as it relates to the increased use of these vehicles throughout the town?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask because my wife and I both own one. And we regularly get on the trails, and I live in Vermilion, so we go through the downtown. I haven't seen a major increase in the use of e-bikes, at least while we've been out there. I know that as those increase, or there's an increase on our trails, et cetera, that we'll probably have to look at maybe some kind of regulations for them. But to me, every car we get off the road is better for the environment. It's better for our health. It's just better for everybody. So I'm all for e-bikes.
Thank you. Ms. Rivers, in regards to e-bikes, do you have any concerns of the increase of use of these vehicles in the town?
Well, I don't own an e-bike, and unlike Commissioner Walsh, however, I would love an e-bike, so my birthday is coming up if anyone wants to purchase one. No, honestly, I think the e-bikes are a good asset to the town of Huntersville, and I think that it helps to offset any transportation issues. I know people complain about transportation and how it's congested. So the e-bikes, I think, are a great asset to the town of Huntersville. I do think that we definitely need to ensure that our infrastructure, such as our sidewalks, our greenways, are in place to make sure that everyone is safe while utilizing them.
Thank you. Mr. Quarles, in regards to e-bikes, do you have any concerns of the increased use of these vehicles throughout the town?
With two bad knees, I'm going to say I have no problems such at all with e-bikes. I think E-bikes will help us get vehicles off the road. That is a big plus for us. And as we start to have more on the road, again, we just look at how we can put in other safety measures, but at the current time, I don't have any problems with e-bikes.
Ms. Hunt, are there any items you wish to see removed from the town budget?
That is a fabulous question.
I wish I could take credit.
No, who put this in here? Honestly, I feel like our town budget is sound. And the reason why I say that is because we have very dedicated town staff who are looking at these things line by line. I can see her right now. She didn't put this question in. But these are very, see, she's got us. We have really, really talented town staff, y'all, who are looking at all of these things. They're not putting erroneous things in the budget. They're not putting things in the budget that are not necessary to make your life better. So my short answer is nothing. I don't think they need to take out anything because these people are professionals. They're advising us. They have people who advise them, and I wholeheartedly trust them.
Mr. Quarles, are there any items you wish to see removed from the town budget?
I would say no. Since we've been in place as far as elected officials, this town have moved forward tremendously, a lot of progress, and the progress is because of everything that's in the budget. We have our annual budget retreat with the professionals, the directors of this town, and they know, again, what we need to move forward. So again, there's nothing I would want to change in the budget. If anything, I would like to increase some things in the budget, but taking anything out, I would not take anything out.
Mr. Gammon, are there any items you wish to see removed from the town budget?
Yes, but they're not exactly printed in the budget, but the money is spent for them. Like the $18,000 plus that's spent for town retreats, but when you look at the meeting time that was spent for 2 days, it was probably a little over 8 hours. That's $18,000 of taxpayer money that the meeting could have been held here. The $17,500 that was spent for public art without any discussion with the public, hidden in the consent agenda that would not be pulled out. I don't have a problem with the public art, and I might even agree with it if I had a chance to discuss it, but it was not transparent. Those are the things that I want out of the budget, that kind of spending. The $200,000 that went to profits and not-for-profits, and maybe commissioner garments with the logos on it. Thank you.
Ms. Smallwood, are there any items you wish to see removed from the town budget?
I wish I could add some more detail to what Frank just said, but I really am just kind of piggybacking off of what he notated, retreats, art. I love art as well, but I really do think that maybe taxpayer dollars shouldn't be used for it. Maybe another avenue would be to partner with a local business. Thank you.
Mr. Walsh, what do you believe to be the best way for the town to support the local schools?
The schools are a partnership between the state of North Carolina, Mecklenburg County, and CMS. At the end of the day, we don't really have a seat at the table. We can do what we do to stay in touch with our CMS reps and support them in whatever way we can. But ultimately, we don't really have a lot of control over the schools.
Ms. Rivers, what do you believe to be the best way the town can support the local schools?
So as a parent of a child who is a student with CMS, being an advocate for our schools and letting them know that we are here to take concerns back to the CMS district reps and making sure that they understand, that we have that open dialogue. Relationships is key. Collaborations are key. What I can say personally is that in knowing and going to the schools and being visible, that has helped tremendously. We were able to partner with Google Fiber not too long ago and assist them with providing laptops for children who did not receive those. So again, it's about building relationships, being advocates, and ensuring that they know that the resources that are offered by us as well as through the CMS reps. Thank you.
Mr. Boone, what do you believe the best way the town can support the local schools?
Great question. The first thing I would do is go out to Hambright Road and meet with those 2 new schools that will be opening up next year. There's no turn lanes for drop-off and exiting when school starts and lets out. The town's responsibility, according to the state legislature, is to build roads for schools, any school. I would immediately start planning turning lanes for both of those schools to relieve the traffic on Hambright Road. Personally, I'm starting a reading program next Friday where we're going into elementary schools, Rotary Club members, and reading to first, second, and third graders. That's what I'm doing personally. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coronet, what do you believe the best way the town can support the local schools?
I strongly believe we need to start building out our roads and sidewalks where we'll be building our new schools. I think it's for the safety of the kids and for the best interest of the parents dropping their kids off. I've sat in those lines a few times and been stuck in traffic, and somebody's trying to get around us, and people are going the wrong way on a one-way road, basically, and it's a recipe for disaster. And I believe we can also continue to partner with, our new school board members and helping them achieve what they can achieve.
Thank you. Mr. Quarles, how do you handle working through disagreements with others?
That's an excellent question. I have the reputation of building strong, trusting relationships, and I even said that in my opening remarks. But definitely in this position as an elected official, this board have received the highest honor from the state of North Carolina, from the North Carolina League of Municipalities. This board have received the award for civility. So we can disagree, but we'll never disagree out in public. We can have our issues behind scenes, but we always shake hands. Commissioner Walsh and I, we're like the 2 headbangers on the board, but we're also very good friends. We know how to disagree and still have a good time and be friends. So again, it's all about leadership. You're not always going to have your way. How do you find a win-win? That's another word I use a lot on this board. I make those issues by having a win-win.
We're going to ask the clapping to stop too as well. Sorry. Thank you. Let's go with Mr. Coronet. How do you handle working through disagreements with others?
I've worked in the corporate world for about 20 years, and there's a lot of disagreements. And I think just coming to the table, stating your case, understanding where people are coming from, and having empathy for the other person's side, I think goes a long ways. I'm a pretty fair person, so if I'm willing to change my mind if they can make their case. But I think we're all, every one of us, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. We're all here for the best interests of the town. And I think at the root of that, we need to remember that, even if we disagree.
Thank you. Mr. Gammon, how do you handle working through disagreements with others?
Well, if you're talking about with other members of the board, now I could say that my 6 years on the planning board, one of the things I always told everyone, with 9 members on the planning board, and sometimes we would have disagreements, but they were professional disagreements. I don't think they ever got heated. But one thing I reminded everybody is that and this applies to the whole world, really. If everybody thought the same, you'd only need one person. I mean, the town board, if they all thought the same and voted the same every time, they'd only need one person up here. I won't comment on that. But other than that, thoughtfulness, prayer, forgiveness, and listening to people. Listen to people. Give the public a chance to talk. Make sure they get to say what they need to say and listen to them. They may not always agree with their decisions, and you may not agree with what they're trying to tell you, but what they're going to tell you, you need to hear it. That's only fair, because you're elected to represent everyone. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Mr. Walsh, how do you handle working through disagreements with others?
If they're smaller than me, then I do thumb wars. It's interesting. There's a lot of, when you're doing a rezoning or anything that's in the public, ordinances, et cetera, I think to Frank's comment, we don't always agree. And so what you do is you advocate for your position, the other person advocates for their position, and you do try to find some common ground. Win-win is something Commissioner Quarles and I often talk about that, is I don't always get it my way, he doesn't always get his way, nobody on this board always gets their way, but what you try to do is work through it and find the win, find the way that everybody gets some piece of the win. And really, I think we've done a pretty good job of that over the last 2 years.
Thank you. Ms. Hunt, you can only choose one. Walkability or alternative transportation. Which would you choose?
That's hard. Well, you know, I am a very active person, so I'm going to say walkability. Do you want me to elaborate? Or is this like a rapid? Okay, walkability. Yes, I would love walkability. My husband and I live very close to downtown. I can't wait for downtown to be developed. I will walk here all the time. And I currently ride my bike here when I can, when it's not dark out. And I absolutely love being able to get around town and never having to get in my car. That's the absolute best part here, folks.
Ms. Rivers, you can only choose one. Walkability or alternative transportation. Which would you choose?
Okay, listen now. I am not the most active, but I am getting there now. I am working out more. So, no, taking it back to my childhood and seeing Huntersville grow, definitely walkability. Even though, I'm not going to put us on blast, we took away my favorite Cashions, but just being able to walk downtown and see the growth, but just the walkability, I would appreciate that. Appreciating Main Street and being able to walk to Coffee Republic because I live right over the railroad tracks. So again, it just brings back the nostalgia of when I was a little girl and we would just walk or ride our bikes up here, but definitely walkability.
Mr. Boone, you can only choose one. Walkability or alternative transportation. Which would you choose?
Microtransit. Microtransit. Are you familiar with that?
All right. Ms. Smallwood, you can only choose one. Walkability or alternative transportation. Which would you choose?
Oh, wow, this is a hard one. So I lived out of the country for a couple of years where walking was a necessity or either the train. I wish I felt like I could do that here, but everything's so spread out. You know, we're not like Europe. So I know as much as we want to be able to walk places and use greenways, which are extremely important, it's difficult to do that. You have to get into a car to move around and get to point A to point B. So as much as I love being outside, I love to walk my dog. I'm actually very excited for the greenway that's coming behind my home. I think, you know, it's going to be a while before we can get there and feel safe enough, actually, to get out and walk somewhere. It's kind of dangerous out there. Talking about e-bikes, those worry me.
Mr. Walsh, would you support a large multi-family development if it included affordable housing?
The answer is that in addition to affordable housing, I would be looking at mixed use. Right outside the doors on the other side of 760, a use by right there was a 3-story apartment building. We worked with a developer to not only get affordable units, but we gave them another floor so we could have retail at the bottom. So where we have multifamily, I always like to see a retail component below it, and then again, some affordable housing as a bonus.
Mr. Gammon, would you support a large multi-family development if it included affordable housing?
I want to work this in because I want to talk about walkability for a minute too. I put my vote down for walkability. I was on the town's Greenway Trail and Bikeway Commission, and while I did that, I said, gee, I got to go learn something, so I got involved with the Carolina Thread Trail, and I've been volunteering with them since 2016. I was their Volunteer of the Year in 2018. So walkability, attainable housing, I'm not going to vote for something just because it has attainable housing in it, and right now, we're in a barter system for attainable housing. I know that the town has put money over here to work on getting attainable housing, but it's not codified. It's not in our 2040 plan. In our 2040 plan, the word unaffordable and affordable is used once in one paragraph in the 2040 plan. And as far as I know that I can find, it's not mentioned at all in the zoning ordinance. So what does the state allow us to do? What do we want to do? And then let's go do it. I'm not opposed to attainable housing, but we need to codify it and quit bartering with developers.
Thank you. Ms. Rivers, would you support a large multi-family development if it included affordable housing?
So affordable housing is, wow. Let me just say this. First of all, if I had to change the 2040 plan and add something, it would be affordable housing because we need it. We definitely need it. Our public servants serve us, and they can't afford to live here. 80% of them do not live here, but they work here. That is a problem. When I went away and I came back, I wanted to be able to come back and raise my family here and to know that I can't afford to live here the way that I want to. But the fact that my family owns property and has homes here, that is the reason why I'm able to come back here. But if I had to say, if there was a project for just a mixed use and that be the only reason, I would definitely have to look at what other concessions would they bring. Like Commissioner Walsh stated, definitely multifamily with retail, because we definitely want the economic value and economic growth, and we want to ensure that the dollars come in as well. So it wouldn't just mainly be about affordable housing, but that would definitely be one of the, we would definitely barter. I'll use Mr. Gammon's word. We'll definitely make sure that we speak to the developers and hold them accountable and make sure they bring something to the table when it comes to affordable housing.
Thank you. Mr. Coronet, would you support a large multi-family development if it included affordable housing?
There would be some nuances. One, it would have to be mixed use. I think that's something that it will help with our bringing in more tax money. I would also want to see where it's zoned and make sure it's in the appropriate location with the infrastructure that could support it. But I also do agree that we do need affordable housing. It's very important, and I agree with Frank that it should be codified in our 2040 plan.
Mr. Quarles, if you could undo one decision from the town in the past, what would that be?
That's a good question. And I don't want to seem like I'm bullheaded, but I think we have a darn good resume to run on. I don't think there's nothing I want to change. We have a darn good resume to run on. So to take something away would be minimizing our resume. So again, we've done more as a commissioner, a board of commissioners, than any board ever in the town of Huntersville. We have the lowest personal property tax in the state of North Carolina as far as population. We have the highest paid starting salary for police officers. We've given them a $4,800 pay increase. We have new fire trucks. So again, we've done so many things for public safety, infrastructure. We have more orange cones in the town ever in the town of Huntersville. So it'd be hard to say I would take something away.
Mr. Boone, if you could undo one decision from the town in the past, what would that be?
If I could undo one thing from the previous 2 years, it would have to be balancing the budget for next year by using fund balance monies.
Ms. Hunt, if you could undo one decision from the town's past, what would that be?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. So one of the things that I'm really passionate about is farmland preservation, and that's something that we've been working on the last 2 years. And so the last town board approved a project that is effectively boxing in Blackberry Ridge Farms. And so it makes it significantly harder for them to carry on their operations or to expand said operations because they are effectively being zoned out, if you will, of carrying on those operations. And that's something that we're really working hard to protect to make sure that that does not continue to happen to the remaining farmland in Huntersville.
Thank you. Ms. Smallwood, how do you see the town's best way to support businesses throughout the community?
So I was speaking with a couple of residents over the last week, and they were telling me that they felt that Huntersville seems more of a pass-through rather than an end-stop, and that they really would like to see a lot of small businesses open up in our area, along with retail and restaurants and more parking. I feel that that's something that's very important to us, and I also believe that we need to be speaking directly with one of the largest landowners here in downtown Huntersville and not send a liaison to have those conversations.
Ms. Rivers, what do you believe the best way for the town to support businesses are?
So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Small businesses are the heartbeat of Huntersville, and we already have many small businesses downtown, such as the Discovery Place Kids, which is a staple, Slice House Pizza, Mamma Mia's, Craft 760, Foster's Framing, the Hunter House, Local Photography, Crafty Beer, Main Street Tavern, the American Legion, and most recently, we have a new business called Benoit Events, and they literally just opened in August. But each of those businesses, they play a key role in what I like to call the Huntersville experience. Some are longstanding, others are new, but together they show how small businesses make downtown vibrant. To keep building on that, we need to make it easier for entrepreneurs to set up shop here, provide affordable spaces, and encourage mixed-use development that combines housing, retail, and walkability. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Boone, what do you think the best way for the town is to support businesses throughout the area?
The best way that the town could support small businesses is not to vote for the 1-cent sales tax. And that increase will just kill small businesses in Huntersville. Both of the people that spoke for and against it, the one thing they did not tell you is that the town of Huntersville will have one representative and a committee of 27 other individuals in Charlotte. If that committee in Charlotte doesn't like the Huntersville representative, they have a veto power that says, we don't like the Huntersville rep, you need to come up with somebody else. That is not a good law for me. And I don't think it's going to do any good for any small businesses to prosper in this town. Thank you.
Ms. Hunt, what do you believe the best way for the town is to support businesses throughout the area?
We've heard my colleagues talk about mixed-use developments, and those are usually a really good place for small businesses to get started. And so if it's a much smaller place, kind of helps them get their feet wet. That's something that we could potentially see in a rezoning that we have down here. It's Holbrook Phase 2. There's going to be space for small retail that helps them get started. If we could have, at one point, my dream, as this question came up earlier, but a food hall in Huntersville, that's another great way for small businesses to get started in town and sort of work their way up to having maybe a larger space. And so working with groups like the Lake Norman Chamber, of course, who are a good liaison, a good group for us to work with to help support small businesses.
Thank you. Mr. Coronet, what do you think the best way for the town is to support businesses throughout the area?
I believe revitalizing our downtown, working with the largest landowner. I'd be happy to sit down with him and discuss ways we could work with him. But I also do believe the mixed use is a really great way, and I think this board's done a great job of doing that. I think that also improves our walkability of our town. I love Vermilion. They have Harvey's right there. You can walk right up to it, right around all the houses. I think it's a really great idea, and I'd like to continue to do that.
Mr. Walsh, in regards to parks, do you believe that Huntersville will ever have enough?
Do I believe they'll ever have enough? I think as more people move in, we need to build more parks, and we're doing that right now. We just approved the First Responders Park. We're going to be looking at park next to our Fire Station 5. The county has bought property. They're doing a project off of Eastfield in Pottstown. They have the Pottstown Park. So the county's buying property, and we are at every turn looking for ways to increase our green space as well as actually build parks. The voters passed a bond referendum a couple years ago, and so we've got $8 million for that, maybe an expansion of our rec center, and we're looking actually at some other land purchases at this point.
Ms. Smallwood, in regards to parks, do you believe the town of Huntersville will ever have enough?
I don't think we could ever have enough dog parks. That's where I'm going to end that.
Mr. Gammon, in regards to parks, do you believe the town of Huntersville will ever have enough?
No, we'll never have enough. But the thing you got to realize here is that the town is not really the driver on parks, although again, I'm going to give Michael Jaycox some kudos here in a couple of seconds. Majority of our parks belong to the county. The land belongs to the county, and the county allows us to develop those for our people. The county is, if I can remember right, we're supposed to have a park within a quarter mile of every citizen. We don't have that right now. We have parks that they're planning to build, like near me, that would be a quarter mile, Cook Park, on Irwin Cook Road in that area. But Michael Jaycox has done a great job of partnering with the county and with Bradford Park. That's a partnership with Davison and the county. We're the major stockholder over there, but Davison is paying into that also. The other thing is I think that although we get parks, a lot of our parks have been athletic parks. Not everybody plays pickleball. Okay, somebody said that, but not everybody
Those are
plays
fighting words.
pickleball.
I'm just saying.
So there needs to be some passive parks. Needs to be some passive parks in town where kids can go out and use their imagination. They can get a kickball and they can start a game, and families can picnic. Thank you.
Mr. Quarles, in regards to parks, do you believe the town of Huntersville will ever have enough?
With the exception of the city of Charlotte, the town of Huntersville has the largest land mass of any municipality in Mecklenburg County. Parks is a little different than our infrastructure. We're behind on our infrastructure, but we're not behind on our parks. So I think that we're doing a great job within Huntersville with our parks, and I don't think we will ever run out of the position where we will not have enough land for parks. So again, I don't think we will ever not need parks. We always have space to continue to grow our parks.
Thank you all for being here this evening. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm now going to go start on the right and work my way left for the final question. And again, thank you for everyone this evening for submitting questions and those online as well. Mr. Walsh, why should people vote for you?
Over the last couple of years, this board has made meaningful progress on the challenges surrounding infrastructure. Today, we have more than 30 road and sideway projects underway with dozens of more on our CIP awaiting funding. We've approved the addition of the new First Responders Park and continue to expand our greenway system, the most frequently requested amenity for our community. I'm also proud to say that we have invested in our employees. We've funded salary increases for all our staff following a pay study and just approved a raise for every police officer to address hiring challenges. Huntersville now offers the highest starting pay for officers in Mecklenburg County and the surrounding area. Apparently I only have 1 minute and you said we had 2 minutes. At any rate, basically I just want to continue the good work that this board has done. We've reached out, we've met just about every challenge that we could. Now he's saying stop. So anyway, you changed the rules on us.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Smallwood, why should people vote for you?
I believe people should vote for me because I believe our town deserves leadership that listens, collaborates, and acts responsibly, not politically. My volunteer experiences have taught me the importance of accountability, transparency, and collaboration, which are values, like I said, I will bring to my position if elected. My focus is simple. We need to strengthen public safety, make sure our tax dollars are used transparently and wisely. Again, we need to see that we have a full police staff and that we have SROs in every school. And we also need a magistrate's office up here in the Huntersville area. So that is something that I'm definitely going to push for if elected.
Thank you. Ms. Rivers, why should people vote for you?
Why not? No, but in all seriousness and in all fairness, I'm from here. I've seen Huntersville grow. I've seen what it is, what it was, and what I know it can be. I am honest, I am trustworthy, I have the background with my education as far as having a degree in political science, having a master's degree in public administration, but over 20 years of experience with working with Mecklenburg County. So why not me? Let me be your voice. Let me listen. Let me come out into your community and hear your issues, your concerns, so that I can come back and represent you and make the best decisions possible for you. I am the voice for the voiceless where it counts.
Again, please hold the claps here. Thank you, thank you. Mr. Quarles, why should people vote for you?
We thought we had 2 minutes, so I'm going to say I would like to talk, and I want to say so much. So if you want to know why you should vote for me, go to electedwinquarles.com to learn more. But I'm going to go now and say people should vote for me because in my first term, I learned how to govern. I've proved to be results-oriented. My colleagues and I, we've accomplished very much since we've been commissioners. Also, Huntersville have never had a voice for its veterans who understand their needs and their dependents' needs. So I am the voice in Huntersville for our veterans. You also should vote for me because I have put my role as commissioner at times before my own health. I wasn't able to tell you all about some of my disabilities, but no one can say they've ever heard me complain. I'm everywhere. I meet with anyone. I also pushed that we didn't have a pay increase, tax increase in 2025 or 2026. So again, those are some of the reasons I think you should vote for me. I'm results-oriented, I'm business-oriented, I'm pro-business, and again, I'm a people person. I'm here for all of Huntersville. Whether you support me or you don't, you should vote for me because I'm going to serve you with dignity and with honor.
Thank you. Ms. Hunt, please with the clapping. Ms. Hunt, why should people vote for you?
I'm going to talk about environmental sustainability because my friends are going to hit up some of our other accomplishments. So I'm going to quickly tick through all of the things that we have done for environmental stewardship and where we hope to go. So you're getting an arborist. That was a campaign promise in '23. It is happening. We updated our tree mitigation ordinance so developers can't cut down so many trees on site and pay to have them planted elsewhere. We are, as I said, engaging with farmers to preserve our farmland. We're looking to do that through deed restrictions or agriculture and cultural easements, which means that that land will always be protected and can only ever be used for farmland or conservation. With 2 more years, I would like to do that tree canopy study that I mentioned earlier. I'd like to establish a voluntary composting program in conjunction with the county. I'd like to establish wildlife corridors or green networks and look at green stormwater initiatives. Really quickly, in a world where you have a federal government that's shut down, you have a state government that can't agree on a budget, you have a Huntersville Town Board who has been working very hard for you and delivering results for the last 2 years. And with 2 more years, I promise you we'll do it again.
And the clapping, thank you so much for the wonderful support in the room there. All right. Mr. Gammon, why
Bring
should
back
people...
transparency to town decision-making, spending, and zoning, to reduce taxes, town fees, and non-essential spending. I have a chart too. It's a lot smaller, but it's irrelevant. There's 25 towns listed on there, and yes, Huntersville has the lowest tax rate, but what you got to understand, that's an apples to oranges comparison. Because when you go to each town, every town is different. What essential services does every town provide? The majority of those towns provide water, waste, libraries, schools. They got to drive school buses. We don't have to do any of that. County does it for us. Mooresville, look, there's an example. They're at 48.7, they're 48.75 tax rate, right? That's higher than us. But again, they have libraries, they have wastewater, and they have schools. It's not a comparison.
Mr. Coronet, why should people vote for you?
This is my first time running, and when I told my my neighbor, I'm on the HOA, I've been the president of my HOA for 5 years, and I've totally fixed up our whole neighborhood, and one of the guys who's always busted my chops about everything, just pulled me over and told me to get over to his car, he needed to talk to me. So I went over and he's like, if you treat this town the way you treat the HOA, we're gonna be in really good shape. And so he gave me a check. So it meant a lot. But I love this town, and I want to make this town a great place for everybody. And so I hope I can do that for everybody. And please go to my website. You can see it's scottcornett.com, and you can see my mom endorses me.
Thank you. Mr. Boone, why should people vote for you?
Well, that should be pretty easy. Why you should vote for me tonight is because I'm the last speaker, correct? I have the experience to be a commissioner. I want to represent all the people in Huntersville, not on one side of the street or the other, both sides of the street. Transparency, real transparency, responsible growth, smart spending, and especially public safety. That's going to be my main focus. And one of the things I'd like to see this new board do is look at the 911 system that we have now. It's not working. It's too much of a delay. You call a medic, you call a police protection. It takes a while for you to go down through the dispatch system, and Charlotte, we need to move that back up here into our region so the dispatcher knows the difference between Huntersville Road and Old Huntersville Road. Thank you for coming out tonight. I'd appreciate your vote. Thank you.
We appreciate all the candidates again for being here. Thank you so much to Bill Russell and the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. This was our third and final public forum for this cycle. Be sure to go out and vote. Obviously, many important topics, and we appreciate y'all being here tonight. Drive safe. I did that.